get speakers from out of the country. And today he was traveling in the United States and we were able to get him to 𝗪𝐶 to speak about it. A little bit about Dr. Keshav Anand Prabhu. He is a medical doctor by profession. So you won't notice that when you see him wearing saffron robes. But he is a medical doctor by profession. He can cure your physical diseases. He can diagnose and cure your physical diseases. But after getting trained in medicine, he realized that there is something more important, and that's the soul. So he decided to specialize in the knowledge of the soul as well. So today I believe he can also diagnose the condition of the soul and cure the diseases of the soul as well. So he might talk to us many words of wisdom, and I would like to invite him up on the stage. And also I would like to invite Dr. 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀, who is the 𝗪𝐶 Bhakti Yoga Club's advisor. And I would like to invite both of them up on the stage. And so now let's welcome Dr. Keshav Anand Prabhu. He is going to talk to us about how science and spirituality intersect, especially with the perspective of Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, Hare Krishna to all of you. I'm Dr. Keshav Anand from India, Hyderabad. And I have, after passing my medical in '98, I read Bhagavad Gita, various Vedas, scriptures of India, and also various other literatures, Bible, Quran, and even Zen, Chinese religion, and all of this. I did some research, I studied under various teachers, and then also Bhagavad Gita, and that's what I thought, let me share this knowledge with you all, and let us try to understand how to become happy and satisfied in this life. And of course, happiness and satisfaction is very rare, especially in this country. People are stressed, and this wisdom will help you to become peaceful, satisfied and happy. So I am going to discuss something about Gita, culmination of science and spirituality. Bhagavad Gita is a book. If you go to India, if you ask what book, one book you name, which you read, that's Bhagavad Gita. If you ask any scholar of spiritual knowledge, there are many books in Hindu pantheon, Hindu scriptures, we can call as Hindu. But there are 4 Vedas, we have Upanishads, we have Puranas. If you talk about scriptures, there are many books. It's not just one book. Then we have 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗧, Ramayana, Mahabharata. But if you combine all those books, and you want to put all that knowledge in one book, that is Bhagavad Gita. Now what is this book? Let's talk about it. Okay. Many scholars, many scientists, politicians, and even philosophers, they have praised this book. So Mahatma Gandhi, everybody knows, he used to read Gita, and this is Aldous Huxley, humanist, pacifist. He praised Gita, and this is interesting. He told Bhagavad Gita is the most systematic statement of spiritual evolution. He's not an Indian. He was a philosopher. And he read Gita and he was impressed. And he didn't tell Gita is a religious book. It's a sectarian book. He told it's the most systematic statement. I'll come to this point, systematic. How Bhagavad Gita explains us from A to Z. From basics of spirituality to the highest level of spirituality, that is God and love of God. And it goes in a very logical and rational fashion. Spiritual evolution, yeah. This is not real. These are two saints of India, famous Aurobindo, Shankaracharya. They have praised Bhagavad Gita. And these are some philosophers, Western philosophers. They also praise Bhagavad Gita. David Thoreau, Wilhelm von Humboldt, they praised Gita. They used to read Gita. Most beautiful, perhaps the only true philosophical song existing in any known tongue. Bhagavad Gita is a book of philosophy. It is not a sectarian book. It is not for Hindus. If you read Bhagavad Gita, you will understand that it is talking about eternal principles. For example, when you buy this television, you get a manual. You buy a car, you buy any gadget, you get a manual. Bhagavad Gita is a manual for life. Bhagavad Gita will teach you how to think. Is there any subject in any university which helps you which teaches you how to think? No subject. Is there any subject which teaches you how to live life? No subject. What is more important to us than living life and thinking? And there's no subject for that. The society is largely materialistic. And we are dealing with matter, but we have forgotten mind. We are dealing with body, but we have forgotten soul. We are dealing with information, but we have lost wisdom. And that is why we are unhappy. We are dissatisfied. And then there's one of the physicians. He praised Bhagavad Gita. Profound influence on the spirit of mankind by its devotion to God, which is manifested by action. So, question is not that so many people have praised Bhagavad Gita. Question is, why these people are praising Bhagavad Gita? And the question is, before that, all the scriptures of India, all the scriptures, they praise Bhagavad Gita, not only scientists, philosophers. This is one scripture, Vaishnavi Tantra Sar, it praises Bhagavad Gita. This is very interesting, you just have a look. That fool who wants to attain liberation by constant yoga practice. Yoga is famous here? People do yoga? That's good, that's not bad. But the point is, this book says, anybody who wants to practice yoga without the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is fit to be laughed at even by a child. Without knowledge, meditation will not give its result. So without knowledge, meditation is ignorance. Without meditation, knowledge is theory. Both has to combine. Both. It is said in scriptures, any mantra, any meditation, any yoga practice you do, you should have some rational basis for that. This is a good verse. There are many Puranas. They also praise Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita is my supreme knowledge. These are good verses. And then Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all scriptures, special in itself. Padma Puran, Agni Puran, Mahabharata, Harivansh Puran, you don't need to remember these names. The point is, Bhagavad Gita is praised by all scriptures, philosophers, scientists, and politicians. Everybody praises Bhagavad Gita. Why? There has to be something in that book now. It is not people who are reading Bhagavad Gita they are praising. It is not belong to Hindus' religion they are praising. It is everyone from diverse fields. These are the three questions. which we should have in mind. When so many Western philosophers and scientists praise Gita, why Gita is considered to be a religious and a mythological book? This is the question. People think Gita is a mythological book. It's a religious book. If so many scriptures praise Gita, why so many scriptures praise Gita? When Vedas are considered to be the essence of all scriptures. In India, if you go, Vedas are considered topmost, but still, all Vedas also praise Gita. Why? And why? What is so unique about Gita? These three questions we are going to deal now. Actually, four. Gita is considered to be a religious book. Is it or is it not? Is it a mythological book? Yes or no? Why so many scriptures praise Gita? And what is unique about Gita? Okay, let's discuss the first question. Gita, a religious book. So, in Western world, religion is considered to be sectarian. Its connotations are bad for religion. But in Sanskrit, religion means dharma. The word, Hindi word, Sanskrit word for religion is dharma. Religion means faith. Dharma means duty. There is no English translation of the word dharma. Religion is very close to that, but it's not. Faith can change, but duty cannot change. You can have some faith today, another faith tomorrow. But we have a spiritual duty. We have duty of body, isn't it? We have some social duties. Our friends, our parents, our relatives. We have duty towards our nation. That's okay. We have duty towards our college. Similarly, we have duty towards spirituality, towards God. That's important to understand. That can never change. That is why religion is dharma. Okay, this is Bhagavad Gita. Religion without philosophy is sentiment or sometimes fanaticism. People follow religion without philosophy. And what they end up in? Fanaticism, terrorism, mostly. Right? People don't understand why they follow religions. And then they fight with each other. And philosophy without religion is mental speculation. If you simply have some kind of philosophy and no religious understanding, it will be simply or simply speculative. There are so many philosophies, solipsism, then materialism, atheism, agnosticism, so many philosophies, idealism, dualism, well, so many philosophies. But if you don't understand religious concepts, spiritual concepts, it will be just speculation. You can end up discussing and arguing, but no satisfaction, no happiness. This is interesting quote. Bhagavad Gita is truly revelation of life's wisdom which enables philosophy to blossom into religion. Bhagavad Gita helps to blossom philosophy into practical action. And how it does? Okay, this is good. How it does? This interesting definition of philosophy. Bhagavad Gita defines philosophy in one line. Any philosophy, if it is to be true, it should help us to understand that after attaining which there is no other greater gain. Any philosophy, if it is true, it should give satisfaction and happiness. Otherwise, that philosophy, any philosophy which is making you more confused, that's not a philosophy. It can be called as philosopher, but it's not a philosophy. This is a very nice definition. Upon gaining which, there is no other greater gain. So nice. This is the philosophy of life. Present day, we all people, we are so much dependent on external things, isn't it? For happiness, we want laptops, we want cell phones, we want car. But have you ever thought, does these things really give us happiness? Or they entangle us? Are we really becoming free or slaves of these things? We have become addicted to these gadgets. Is there any other way that we can get happiness without these things? There is. That's what Gita says. We don't need these things to be happy. But we are trained to think like that. By advertisements, by society. If you don't have laptop, you'll die. I don't know, maybe it might happen. People are so addicted to laptop. Now it's everywhere. If you don't have cell phone, there's this. What do you do when you're sitting on airport? Anytime you're free, people just take cell phone, start playing games. It's an absolute waste of time. It's nonsense entertainment. Entertainment will not help you to think deep. And that's what society is doing to us. You have to understand that we are not supposed to be. If everybody is going to a well, drowning in a well, you're not supposed to drown in that. It is said blind after blind is a society. People are blind and we are just going behind them without thinking. Bhagavad is inviting you to think. Think. It is very common sense. Just think. Suppose I give you an example. For example, if I tell you, you can be very happy without any gadgets, without your luxuries, just sit in one room, close your eyes and you'll be happy. Now this is my proposal to you all. Will you go to malls and shop and bring laptops, movies or that? If you are happy sitting in one room closing your eyes, will you want anything else or not? Anybody? If suppose, theoretically I give you this proposal. Everybody close your eyes, okay fine. And you're happy, satisfied. You want nothing in life. You're satisfied within yourself. Gita says, one who is satisfied within, he is the most happy person. He is not dependent on anything else. If this happens to you one day, so much dollars you save, isn't it? You have to spend dollars. You don't have to shop and go and waste your money and buy so many clothes, so many things. I was seeing one census I was reading. Every year, I don't know how many millions of laptops people throw. And out of those laptops which are thrown, 99% laptops are functional. They are okay, but people will throw that. Maximum number of fridges, refrigerators people throw. Every year, they want new. They think that these things will give happiness. They waste money. Simple. Isn't it a nice proposal? It's good, no? If suppose you are happy and you don't need anything, you save your money, you save time, you don't end up messing around with people, satisfied. Oh, there's one story. You know this Alexander the Great? Everybody knows? Alexander. He conquered, he started from Greece, Macedonia. He conquered all Mediterranean. He came to India. India, when he came, there was a saint who was sitting beneath a tree. And Alexander told, my dear saint, you should go down in front of me. I am the king of this world. I have conquered the entire world. That saint told, well, if I don't go down then, he said, I'm kidding myself. I'm the king. So that saint told, okay fine, you can kill me. But the point, I have to ask a question. He asked him a question. Okay fine. What's the aim of your life? And Alexander, he never heard this question, first of all. If you ask people this question, what is the aim of life? 50% will go back. Aim, what that means? I don't know the aim of life. 50% will answer, my aim of life is money or whatever it is. So he told, okay, my aim is to conquer the entire world. That's my aim. And then that saint told, okay, after conquering the entire world, what do you do? Okay, suppose, hypothetically, you conquered the entire world, now what? Then he told, okay, then I'll sit nicely and enjoy. I'll be satisfied, comfortable. He told, that's what I'm doing now. But you want to go back and conquer the entire world, I'm happy. He just come and sit with me. See the point? This is the point. Alexander, he was blind. He became blind by his greed for conquer, power. And he forgot that whatever he's doing is for happiness. And if he can get happiness without doing all these things, why do waste our time and energy? That is what Bhagavad Gita is going to teach us. Upon gaining which, there is no other greater gain. This is how Bhagavad Gita also defines religion. Interesting definition. Bhagavad Gita doesn't say religion is Hindu, Muslim, Christianity. This is all fanaticism. Religion has to do with soul. Soul is not Hindu, Christian or Muslim. Soul is soul. If I take a Hindu, if I take a Muslim, if I take a Christian, and if I cut their finger, what will come out? What's going to come out? Blood. Or from Christians it will be some white fluid, from Muslims it will be blue, and from Hindus it will be some purple. It doesn't happen like that, it's same. So it's all the same. If I hit somebody, you'll feel pain. Prabhupada used to say. Everybody will feel pain. Pain is universal. Blood is universal. Soul is universal. There is nothing sectarian in that. Religion is defined by Bhagavad Gita. Changing one's nature is called religion. Any process you follow, if your nature and habits are not changing, you are not following religion. You can be good Christian, good Muslim, good Hindu, whatever. You have to understand the concepts. You have to understand the fundamentals of life, laws of life. There's nothing 1 plus 1 is 2 always. It's not going to change in America. Oh, in America 1 plus 1 is 2, is it? Am I correct or not? Or it's 1 plus 1 is 3 here. It's 2. Everywhere it's 2. Sun is everywhere the same. Similarly, religion is same. Religion has those laws which will help you to lead a life happily. That's all. And if you're following some religion and your nature is not changing, many people say, I'm religious, and the habits don't change. What's the point? What's the point? You're the same man, same woman, same person. Very interesting definition. Is there any sectarian in this? Nothing, no? Nothing? It's common sense. Scriptures are common sense. Actually, you don't even have to read scriptures to understand what is spirituality. You just have to sit and think. But to inspire thinking, these books are there. You can observe this. You don't have to prove this. You can observe it. This is the truth. Simple. Do you need a book to prove that you have pain? If you go to a doctor, you say, "My doctor, I have pain," and the doctor says, "First prove it that you have pain." Will you go to the doctor? You will tell the doctor, I think you need a psychiatrist. There's a problem with you. Pain is pain. Simple. Similarly, if a religion helps you to understand the universal truths of this world, it is there in front of our eyes, but we can't see. We can't see. That's the problem. Smoking is injurious to health, yet people smoke. Drinking alcohol, lung cancer, yet people drink alcohol. It is there, but we can't see. Why we can't see? Because we don't have wisdom. We don't sit and think. That's the point. Bhagavad is saying, please start thinking. Please start thinking. We'll give you the guidelines. Start thinking and observe this word. You will find this word, what we are saying. Okay. This is why people think Bhagavad Gita is religion. You see, many people came to India and there were 2 universities, Takshila and Nalanda. You know this? You heard about that? And people, those were the center of this world for knowledge. But then many Greek philosophers, Egyptians used to come to this university and read scriptures and understand knowledge and Bhagavad Gita. Then Muslims came. Muslim invasion, Mughals invasion, Arab invasion, if you read in history. They came and they destroyed these universities. They burned Vedas. This university, when they burned this university, it was burning for 4 months. They had so many knowledge, so many books. 4 months. If you burn this university, how many months will you burn? But that university was burning for 4 months. So many manuscripts. And then this knowledge, whatever knowledge was there, they stole it, they took to Arab countries, they translated, and then there were crusades, Christianity, Jerusalem, fights, and then this knowledge went to Arab, to Europe. It was translated into their language, Hebrew and whatever. And then the age of enlightenment began in Europe with Newton, 17th century. You all know this history, everybody? All knowledge went from India. But what happened in the process? In the process, scriptures remained in India, but the understanding got lost. And that is why religion became a myth. That is why. Because it was not backed up by proper rational understanding. This is what happened in the history. So is Gita a mythological book? Oh, this is quite interesting again. Do you know what is this place? Anybody can tell? What is this place? At least. Yeah, 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. At this place, this is a banyan tree under which Krishna spoke Gita. It's still there. This tree is still there. 5,000 years ago, Krishna spoke Gita to Arjuna. It's not a myth. It is a historical fact. This place is the 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, where Gita was spoken. This is a scientist from Chennai, Madras. He did some research and he found 5,000 years old arrows and spears. And we all know 5,000 years ago in Kurukshetra there was a battle, Mahabharata. People fought, and these are the evidences for that. So Gita is not a mythological book. Somebody spoke, well, we don't know, it's just something mythological. It's history, it's evidence, it's a fact. It was spoken, and the same book we have now, as it is. This is one person, Dr. S.R. Rao. He found 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗪 city in undersea excavations. He recently left his body. You can see this divers who found a wall. This is a big wall of 𝗪𝗪𝗪 city. Krishna made a 𝗪𝗪𝗪 city. He made a city in the sea. This is recorded in scriptures. And this is evidence. It's there. So that a personality named Krishna existed in history. A book named Gita existed in history. And its philosophy, its wisdom is still with us. It's all fact, it's all evidence. It's not in air. Many people have read Gita since then. They benefited, they learned the laws of life. Why so many scriptures praise Gita? Oh, this is a good verse. You can just have a look. Because Gita is a king of education. The most secret of all secret. You know why Gita is called secret of all secret? Because Gita is an open secret. It is there in front of us. You can read it. But to understand that book, you need little teaching, little training. So it is an open secret. It's there. But you have to tune your intelligence with this knowledge to understand it. It's purest of all. It gives self-realization. It will help you to understand who you are and how to become happy. Okay, now, this is quite interesting. Just keep a note on this. Why Gita is so unique? Why so many scriptures praise Gita? You see, if you read scriptures, there are two types of scriptures. Scriptures are categorized into two sections. One is decisive, one is informative. Now what do I mean by that? It's simple. Vedas give you information, but Gita will give you decision. And this is important because Vedas are so big. If you read scriptures, you might get confused. Okay, whether I should do this or this. Who will give decision? Gita. That is why Gita is so important. It will give you decision. You might read so many books, but if you are confused, whom do you ask? Your professor, isn't it? My dear professor, I read so and so, and I'm confused. Professor will say, okay fine, this is the answer, this is how you should answer the question. So professor is giving you decision. Your books are giving you information. Gita will give you decision. Now what do I mean by this? Okay, this is this 18th chapter, 3rd verse. Krishna says, many sages, some learned men declare that all kind of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty. Yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity and penance should never be abandoned. Some people say you should do charity, some people say no. Some people say you should do sacrifice, some sages say no. Krishna says acts of sacrifice, charity, penance are not to be given up. He is giving a decision. This is the decision. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penance purify the great soul. If you want to be happy, learn these 3 words. Sacrifice, charity and penance. Sacrifice means don't lead your life for yourself. That's a very bad idea. We are trained to think about ourselves. How will I become? Okay. How will it benefit me? If it doesn't benefit me, okay. Finish. No. Sacrifice means thinking about others. Charity means helping others. And penance means austerities. Involuntary pain, little bit. Just for example, every spiritual person, he has to get up early in the morning. Have you heard? People who practice spirituality, they get up early in the morning. And what time do we get up? We get up at least before sunrise. That is sacrifice. If you want to be, this is a secret. If you want to always be healthy, if you don't want to see a doctor, get up before sunrise. You will never become unhealthy. This is a secret, small secret. Because I was a doctor, allopathic doctor, physician, and I was an Ayurvedic doctor also. Natural therapy, homeopathy also I have done. And all of those sciences, at least one thing is common. Get up before sunrise. Such a simple rule. Was it taught to you? In your chemistry, PhD, super PhD, super PhD? No, isn't it? And it should be taught when you child. Every day they get up. Why don't people tell us how to lead a life? Why don't people tell us how to talk, how to walk, how to sit? It requires a little bit training. This is all given in Gita. If you read 16th chapter of Gita, Gita will tell you how to speak. Does anybody know how to speak? What are the rules of speaking? Anybody can tell me? Okay, how to speak? Let's ask you. How to speak? Well, you might think, this is a crazy question. How to speak? Just speak. But it's not a crazy question. How to speak? Bhagavad Gita trains you, okay. How to speak? 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 should have 4 things. It should be truthful. Everybody likes truth. It should be pleasing to hear. You should not speak anything which is not pleasing. You should speak truth in a way which is pleasing. You can also speak truth in a way which is hard to hear, no? And then 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗲𝗀, it should be for the welfare of that person. It should help him, not demotivate him. You can speak truth, you can speak in a pleasing manner, but you can speak in such a way that he gets demotivated. My God, I can't do it. And what's the fun of that speaking? Should speak according to his level. And 𝗦𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗲𝗀, in such a fashion which will not give him stress and anxiety. Superb definition of how to speak. So nice. These are the 4 components. 𝗙𝗹𝗪𝗲𝗀, 𝗦𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗲𝗀. Truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and it should not give stress and anxiety to the other. Beautiful. How to walk? It's given in Gita, how to walk. Can anybody tell how to walk? This is a funny question, isn't it? How to catwalk? I should walk. I should spread my legs or walk. Gita says how to walk, teaches you how to walk. And if you can learn Gita, Prabhupada says, you can become gentleman. You can become gentleman. Everybody will be happy who will be with you because you are happy. People will learn from you, your every act. every talk, because you connected with Gita. Gita will make you perfect in all fields, all respects. So Gita gives decision. Okay, do this, do like this. Apply this knowledge and see for yourself. Simple. It's not blind faith. You have to do this, okay fine. If you don't do this, we'll kill you. It's not like that. Apply this and see for yourself. What is the proof that pizza is tasty? Everybody eats pizza. I should give an example of pizza. In India, I gave you an example of gulab jamun or something like that. Okay, what's the proof that pizza is tasty? What is the proof? The proof is in? Eat one pizza and see the taste for yourself. I can prove that it is tasty. Eat and see, that's all finished. If you don't taste it, leave it, forget it. Read Gita, understand it, apply it. If you don't find anything truthful there, leave it, that's all. But don't dismiss it. We are dismissing knowledge. That's blind faith. People say, you are reading Gita, you are religious, you are superstitious. We say you are superstitious. Without reading, how can you dismiss anything? Isn't it? That's not a good thing. A scientist should read, research, see, observe, experiment, and then see. This is a good thing. Oh, I understand this. This is Gita. Less letters, more meaning. Concise but precise. Every verse of Gita is compact. So much information. Every verse of Gita has at least 3 meanings. One is scientific, one is spiritual, and one is bhakti. In one verse, we have 3 levels of meaning. This is the beauty of Sanskrit. If you know Sanskrit, this is the beauty of Sanskrit, especially Gita. How is it? Oh, this might be real shocking for you. Anyway, I'll just let you know. You see this Sanskrit verse, Na sato vidyate bhagavana bhava vidyate sato. In this verse is talking about soul and body. You can just read it. Those who are seers of truth have concluded that of non-existent material body there is no endurance. Endurance means permanence. Of the eternal soul there is no change. Simple. This is the spiritual meaning of this verse. There is a scientific meaning of this verse. It says, what is non-existent will not stay. What is non-existent doesn't exist. What exists can never non-exist. So what is this law? What is there, it's always there. What is not there cannot be there. What is this law in science? Anybody knows? Energy is neither created or whatever energy is there in the entire universe, it is there. What is not there, it's not there. You can't increase law of conservation of energy. You can't increase energy, you can't decrease energy. You can change energy, form of one energy to another energy. But you can't increase and you can't decrease. It's a law. This is there in this verse. Who found this law? Who was the founder of this law? Newton? And when did Newton stop? 300 years back? When was Gita spoken? 5,000 years back, and we have law of conservation of energy here. So perhaps Newton took his conservation laws from Gita or what? Sorry, stop it. There's a book, 11 Pictures of Time. One scientist in India, C.K. Raju, he's a mathematician. He got a Nobel Prize now. He has done some research. He said that all these laws which Newton found, he got this knowledge from it was translated from Indian scriptures. I told knowledge went from India to Muslim country to Christianity. They had access to all these things and they read that and they got the principles of all these laws from there. Law of gravitation is there in scriptures. It is called Sankashan. Optics is there in Vedas. There are so many things. Gita is complete knowledge. You see this example, you see this diagram, there is a tree and there is a reflection. There is a beautiful example in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, first verse. Gita is comparing this entire world to be an inverted tree. Why? This river, where do you get an inverted tree? As a reflection in the river, isn't it? That river represents desires. And in that desires is a reflection of reality. And that reflection is an illusion. So Gita gives an example. Whatever you see in this world, what is this remote control? It's a desire. You think it's remote control? It's a desire. This is how wise people see. Wise people can see entire picture. Fools, they'll see just this object. It makes a difference. So they can see this is desire. People desire this, it is there. So Gita helps you to understand. Look behind the scene. Don't be involved in the movie. Look behind what is there. And behind this word, what is their desires? We desire and create a word out of it. Around ourselves, around people, and sometimes we desire wrong, sometimes good. Whenever we desire wrong, we create problem for ourselves and for others. And that's... Okay, I talked about complete knowledge. You might say, how Gita is complete knowledge? Gita is science. It's a beautiful definition of science. Gita says science is cause and effect. Such a beautiful definition. Science means if you have an effect, there should be cause. Simple. We define science as observation, experimentation, hypothesis, experimentation, and theory, isn't it? Francis Bacon. But Gita defines science as cause and effect. Simple. Anywhere you have effect, find the cause. Anything you have cause, find the effect. They should be linked together. That is science. Simple definition. And good, actually good. Many philosophers, they argue that this definition is more appropriate than observation and experimentation and theory. Because you can experiment, you can have observations, but you can have multiple theories for one set of observation. Isn't it? We have electrons, same experiments, we have electrons. Now we have same experiments, but electrons are electron cloud. Things are changing. Things are changing. So experiments, evidences can be interpreted. That's the point. So that system of defining, it's okay, but this system is good. Gita defines philosophy. It's great. We had 3 philosophers who changed philosophy, who brought revolution. Descartes, Wittgenstein, Thomas Kuhn. What philosophy they gave, that is already there in Gita. René Descartes talked about decision, dualism, mind and body. Ludwig Wittgenstein talks about definition, define the terms. Thomas Kuhn defines about distinction, transcendence and matter. Gita talks about all 3. All the 3 paradigms. I'm not going to go into details with that, just giving you a glimpse how Gita is a philosophical book. Gita is psychology. In one verse, you have entire psychology. You can see this. Every word of Gita will lead to a branch of psychology. Adhisthānam tatha karta kāranam chaktagvidam vivideshta pradaktaishta vekam prakartimashtata. You know subconscious mind, Sigmund Freud? He gave this concept, 8 super 8 subconscious. Is right there in Gita. Last very long. Is there? What to do? Is there a Tattva subconscious, concept of subconscious? All knowledge is coming from Bhagavad Gita. It's there. Of course, credit has to be given to this book. That's another point. Medicine. Gita says medicine is all to do with balance. If you balance your life, balance is the best medicine. Such a good definition. If you balance your life, eating, sleeping, recreation, you have no disease. Beautiful definition. Why do you need medicines? You take the medicine of balance. Balance your life. Simple. So great. Morals and laws. Gita talks about personal conduct, social norms and punishment in 16th chapter. Read this chapter, 16th chapter. It's talking about civil laws, criminal laws, principles, of course not details. You can't just make a law book out of Gita, but principles is talking about. And then finally, Gita talks about virtue, knowledge and happiness. This is what we are after. We want virtue, we want good qualities, we want to be a good person, we want to be knowledgeable, and we want to be happy. So Gita talks. First 6 chapters talks about virtue, which is called as Karma Yoga. Second 6 chapters talks about happiness, which is Bhakti Yoga. And third 6 chapters talk about Jnana Yoga, knowledge. And Gita does a surprising thing. It combines all the three, knowledge, virtue and happiness. And it tells us the aim of all knowledge, all happiness, all virtues is love of God. This is the aim of life. If you are a good person, the aim of being good is to understand God. Because God is all good. And if you want to understand God is all good, you have to be good. The aim of all happiness is to be happy, peaceful, and that peace and satisfaction, when your mind is settled, then you should meditate on God. A mind which is full of desires and anxieties, it cannot understand God. It's difficult. You have to be purified. So that's the aim of happiness and knowledge. All knowledge should help you to lead to understand God and love God. This is what is Gita. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. For those of you who have questions, we passed around sheets of paper, and if you have any questions, please pass them out, and we can take a few questions. Anybody have questions? If not, we can talk about what were some of the lessons you learned. Anyone want to share one lesson that you learned? One lesson. Yeah, if anyone has questions, you can pass it on to Karthik. You can also write down the lessons you learned if you're too shy to talk. I learned a lot of lessons. One of the things I learned is how to talk. Be truthful, be pleasing, be motivated, and no stress. Right? Don't create stress. It should be beneficial for others. So after learning that lesson, I think I should talk a little less. I've been talking too much. So we have a few questions.
Okay, so we have some questions, and by the time we can write something, we can discuss something. It's good to discuss, isn't it? Every time we don't have such talks, and we have some queries. That's a good thing. That's a great thing to help others. Okay, what is your favorite verse? My favorite verse? Mine? From Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, my favorite verse from Bhagavad Gita was that. I have to think because all verses are favorite. But at least one favorite verse is there. Krishna says, Prabhupada is my favorite. Dehenosmi natha dehe kaumaram yognam jara tatha dehanta praptya dhirasatra namoyati. Gita starts with this verse. This verse means, Krishna said to Arjuna, Arjuna, you are soul, you are not this body. Arjuna said, Krishna, is there any proof, is there any logic for that? I don't want to accept it just now. So Krishna says, simple logic. You are different from body. I will prove to you, you are not this body. It's very simple. Okay, let me just prove to you, you are not this body. It's simple, you don't need some big experiments. Fine. Okay. This body, what we have, what we see, hands, legs. Every 7 years it will change. Everybody knows science. Everything changes in a body. Our skin changes, our blood cells change. Our blood cells change, I think for like 120 days, blood cells, they change. Liver cells, all cells change. After every 7 years, our brain cells change. Neurons. After every 7 years, our body is, what should I say, new. But still we are the same person. If I ask you, who were you in childhood? What you will say? I was so and so. Now who are you? I am so and so. But your body changed, your brain changed. But I was the same, that I. This means you are not this body. Anything which will change, that thing you are not. Because you are not changing. That me and I is not changing. Are you all getting my point? Before 10 years, who were you? You were me, I. So and so. Now you are I, so and so. You didn't change. You have memories, but your body changes, so you are not this body. You close your eyes. Okay, everybody, close your eyes. Close your eyes. So what do you see inside? What do you see inside your body? What do you see? It's mostly darkness. Or maybe some thoughts will come. You'll think something. After some time, some thoughts will keep on coming. And you will have no control on your thoughts. You agree? If you just sit for some time, your mind will start thinking something. And you have no control. For example, when we sleep, we dream. Do we dream? Everybody dream? Is there anybody who doesn't dream? There's an exception. Dreams are beyond our control. We have so many thoughts beyond our control. This shows we are not thoughts. We are not mind. Because if we were mind, we should be able to control our mind in our dreams. What we are, we should be able to control, but we can't control. This shows we are not mind. The fact we dream, it proves we are not mind because it is beyond our control. Is it? That's okay? Makes sense? Okay, now let me ask a question. Can anybody forget himself? Can anybody forget yourself? It's possible? It's possible. No. While consciously, can you forget yourself? The moment you start thinking, let me forget myself, that moment you can't forget because you're thinking of yourself. You can't forget yourself. We are so conscious of ourselves, we can't forget. Consciously, we can't forget ourselves. Why? Because we are weak. But in sleep, we forget. Deep sleep, isn't it? When you sleep, there are no dreams. You forget yourself. Such a magic. It's a magic. There's no science to explain this. It's a magic. How can you forget yourself for 6 hours? And this shows that there's some superior power to us which is making us forget ourselves. And this shows that there is some super soul. There's soul and super soul. So Krishna gives this logic, simple logic. Krishna says, see your photographs. A childhood photograph is different, adult is different, old age is different. But still we are the same. This simple logic matters. This means we are not the body. Simple. Is there any difficulty to understand? No, isn't it? You don't need science, you need common sense. It's very simple. Okay, according to Gita, Bhakti Yoga is the easiest path to self-realization. Others believe that Raj Yoga is the way. Others believe they are all ultimately one and the same. What is your perspective? Well, Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Jnana Yoga, all are same. Doesn't really matter because all processes are given in Vedas. It is given. But some processes are difficult, some processes are easy. So Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Hatha Yoga and Raj Yoga, they are the same names. But this is one category, Bhakti Yoga is another category. Those are difficult process. Because you have to meditate, you have to do asana, you have to do pranayama. It's not wrong, but it's a little difficult. Because many people who do asanas, I used to do. I've been to Himalayas 15 years back. I lived for 1 year in Himalayas in caves, with tantrics, with yogis. I was doing meditation and so many things. But then I found that our body is not made for such kind of austerities. We become unhealthy. A healthy body has sound mind. A sound mind can meditate on God. So our bodies are very weak. This modern age. That is why in this age, Bhakti Yoga is recommended. Bhakti Yoga is simple. That is chant the names of God. We understand God's instructions. So, it's not different, but at the same time, some process are easy, some processes are difficult. We recommend Bhakti Yoga. Krishna recommends Bhakti Yoga. Chant God's name, understand His instructions, read Gita, and perfect lives. As simple as that. Why can't we attain a balanced state of mind just like a child who lives in a moment? How we attain that state through Gita? Balanced state of mind just like a child. Why like a child? Child's mind is balanced. I like to answer this question. Can you explain me this question? Balanced mind just like a child who lives in a moment. Well, Gita says, Brahmbhuta prasanatmana soshati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu man bhakti 𝗙𝗲𝗃𝗃. Gita Krishna says, 18th chapter. This is advice from Krishna. Na soshati na kankshati. Don't lament for past. Don't plan for future. Don't be anxious for planning your made for future. Live today in this moment. That's the idea. It is said in scriptures, Shankaracharya says, I have seen many children who are attached to toys. I have seen many youths who are attached to girls or boys. I have seen many old people who are attached to their past lamentations, but I have not seen even a single person who is attached to God. That's what Shankaracharya says. Our whole life we spend thinking about past. Oh, I did this, I did that, I failed. It should have happened like that, but I did that. Why I did that? Why did I do that? And we project ourselves in future. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that, then I'll do this, then I'll do that. And in the process of thinking about past and future, we forget today. We are living today, we have to think of today. But we mess up today's moment thinking about past and future. This is ignorance. So Gita says, why do you lament for past? Past is gone. Bury your past, forget your future. Live today. And today you think how much you have learned. How much you learned from your life. How much you learned from Gita. How much you have applied. That's the idea. Thanks for night talk on Gita. I'm skeptic about timeline of 5,000 years. I would like to know if there is any establishing fact about the dates. Well, I showed you the slides about that research, that scientist doing research. So he excavated some weapons, and a tree was there, and they found by the archaeological dating process or whatever, and they found the dates to be 5,000 years back. Dwarka city I showed that person, that scientist. Dwarka city, if you see, he also dated all the whatever artifacts they got from the sea, and the dates matched 5,000 years ago. So that's the fact we found that Gita is 5,000 years ago. Gita explains how to be happy and live while in the body. Does Gita explain what comes after a happy earthly life? Yeah. Gita says, Kuta Shanti, Kuta Sukham. Gita says, if you are not happy in this life, how can you expect to be happy in the next life? If you don't know the rules to become happy in this life, how will you become happy in the next life, if there is a next life? And if you are not happy in this life, and if there is a next life, it is guaranteed you are not going to be happy in the next life, because you have not trained yourself. And if you are happy in this life, then Gita says, then there is no need to think about the next life. Why do you think of next life? You are happy. You are satisfied. So, that's the advice of Gita. Be happy. Follow the laws of Gita. Lesson I learned, early to bed, early to rise makes people healthy, wealthy. No, there's no wealthy, healthy. That's what makes healthy. Yeah, early to bed, early to rise makes people healthy, wealthy and wise. I don't know about wealthy. You sleep early, get up early, I don't know. But yeah, you become intelligent. So you can do things quite fast. Healthy, wealthy, and wise. That's the same, yeah. So get up early. Early means before sunrise. And early sleeping means before 10:38. In Ayurveda it is said, sleep before 10:48 you should be sleeping. 10:48, that time our hormones will change. Our body is linked to cosmos. We are not independent. Our body is linked to cosmos. Our mind is linked to moon. Intelligence is linked to sun. So that is why you see on a rainy day, it's very gloomy. In winters in America, you become depressed, you don't feel good, because intelligence becomes dull. So, similarly, our body is linked to cosmos. As soon as 10:48, that time, according to the body, hormones will change. Our entire body composition will change. Our body temperature will go down. And the body will prepare itself to sleep. And if you are awake after that 10:48, you are going against nature. You can remain awake, no problem. But if you are going against your body mechanisms, it will be off. And then you get stress, you get anxieties, heart problems. Night 10:48 to morning 3:36. You should be sleeping. That's all. Exact time is it. That is the science of Ayurveda. And in morning 10:48 to afternoon 3:36, you should never sleep. So both things you should remember. Morning 10:48 to afternoon 3:36, don't sleep, because that time body mechanisms are waking you up. They are hormones which will make you awake. But if you sleep, you are going against the body mechanisms. Then you'll end up having problems. So these are some tips. This is what I told you. This is said in Gita. I'm not telling you. It's said in Gita 16th chapter. It's given there. Today, I think today we're giving Gita. We'll give you a copy of Gita, no problems. Just go through it. Please read Gita as a novel. Don't read it as a scripture. Please, my request is. When somebody gifted me Gita, when I came new, and what happened? I just read Gita. I just read Gita 1,000 times. That's all. I kept it with me as a novel. I just read it. Okay, let's see. It's good. Keep it in your bedroom. Don't keep it in your. In India, people keep Gita in their room where they do puja. Don't keep it there. Keep it in a bedroom. Keep one copy in your car or in your purse. Just keep on reading it. That's all. I used to read Gita while shaving. Let's see how much there. It's good. It's good. Food for thought. Food for intellect. So, that's all. There are many ways. If you can log on to these sites if you want. Some sites are going to come. Some sites are already there. I've written many things on these sites. You can just hammer on these sites, learn things. If you have any questions, you can mail me. The mail is here on this sites. And thank you very much for listening, for letting me. Thank you for that.